What's up, Chainsaw Shack? What's up, YouTube? This video will go out through the Shack and YouTube. Brody here, and what we're going to do is talk about the updated filter from Redbeard Saws and the issue with the old filter and his updated version of this, which I had no idea anything was updated or anything was going on. I had one of the original first filters that came along. So what I'm going to do is, I already covered this in another video. I'm right here. The issues with the first filter setup. That video is still on YouTube and will stay there. It's been posted in the Chainsaw Shack. But I'm going to kind of cover what was going on originally with the first one and show you the new one and show you the differences and what was wrong with the first one and how it was improved in the second one. So here we go. I'm gonna set this filter. Hold on a second here. And shuffle some stuff around. Let's look at the original first. This is the original one. It's already oiled. You can see it right here. This is Unifilter, Unifoam from Unifilter, the people that make motorcycle foam filters and stuff like that. This is their material right here. This is the new filter material. This is more like twin air filter stuff to people that make motorcycle filters too, and other filters besides that. This is probably better filter material. This is more coarse on the outside, more finer on the inside, but I think the new filter stuff is better. But here was the issue with the original filter setup. This here is your filter cage that sits on here, and this thing would walk. If you can see that lip in there, it's supposed to hold this around. Lets it walk all around. There's nothing here holding this in place. It just moves all around. Now, if it slides up enough, I don't know if I can get it even into the camera. If this slides up enough, it will leave a gap. There, we can see the gap over here on the side. It will leave a gap, and guess what happens there? You're going to get dirt in there, okay? The other piece that fits on here, over the top of this, it is the same issue. This will go over top of this, and again, if I can get that in there, you can see that it's going to walk around. That does not fit right, okay? Okay, those are a couple of the issues with this first one. And another issue there is when this filter is in place, I'm going to leave the cage out, but it basically sits there just about like this. So when you're trying to put this stock cover back on, right here, this lip right here is going to catch this filter right here in the bottom. And you can try to slide it up, and when you slide it up, what you're going to have is that air gap up here above or below, whichever way you push it. But apparently up, you're not going to be able to get that in. And all you're going to do is, when you try to slide that cover in, that bottom lip is going to push the filter in, push it up like that, and you're going to end up having dirt bypassing this filter. That was not needed a little more R&D on that part. I'm going to have to say that. I'm surprised nobody else has called it out before us. Me and Alex caught it the other night. Nobody said anything. Fortunately, he has upgraded, and made improvements on the original design. And I talked to him on Facebook and inboxed him about it, and he was real decent about it. Nick is a stand-up guy. That's all I can say. He's like, I'll get you another filter out. I'm glad you called it out and brought it to my attention. He wasn't mad. He wasn't upset. He wasn't telling me I was on my own. I was screwed. I spent $50 on this first filter setup. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's subpar. And another one of the issues was this gasket back here. It's melted now. This is like tar. I don't know if I can pull some of this out of here, but look at it. I just peeled some of it out. Look, it's just like tar. It's melted. The fuel attacked it. It's gone. So you're not going to get any sealing around here with this original piece either. I mean, look at that. I can just move it around. It's like Play-Doh in there. It's junk, okay? So that was another flaw with the original filter. The new one is smaller in diameter. This is not as wide, the same diameter as this one. So when this is on here, you're not going to have the problem of this catching the bottom of the filter when the cover goes on and pushing the filter when you put it on. It's going to be out of the way and clear. So that has been one of the improvements right there, the diameter of this. So it's going to clear going over this. This will not push the filter now. And I want to run the original cover, and I don't want to cut the cover because I don't want to delete the centrifugal air cleaning system that's on this saw. It works similar to the air injection on Husqvarna's. Those are awesome engineering feats, man. It's an awesome design. And last thing I want to do is drill holes in my airbox cover or have filters sticking out and then go ahead and just delete what the engineers spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands, probably thousands of hours designing and building a great filter system that doesn't suck up dirt like a vacuum cleaner, and then delete it by just drilling holes in it or, notching the cover out so the filter can fit in there. That's not what I want to do. When we start talking about modifying the saw and stuff, the only filters I'm ever going to be interested in the ones that fit under the cover. I don't want nothing sticking out, looking silly. I'm not interested in that. So the new filter has a better material in here to fit on there that's not going to melt, and it has an O-ring here where the old one does not. Nothing in there. So we can put this on here. That's going to have an O-ring seal over that stud, and we're going to have a better seal here because he's put better sealing material here. And then this cage, let me pull this cage out of this filter. Give me a second here. I have not oiled this filter yet, and I'm going to discuss oiling home filters too, since some people I've had to deal with in this chainsaw shack don't understand why you use foam filter oil, and no other oil should be used on a foam filter. This cage fits on here. If you can see that, it's not gonna let it move around. It doesn't have that play that the old one had. It doesn't slide around. It's made to fit on there perfect. And the inner part, the outer part of this is the same thing. It fits on there. It fits like a glove. Where the other one didn't. It walked around. This one, you put it in there and it fits right. This is a way better fit and finish on this product, on this new one. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just dry assemble this. I'm not gonna oil this filter yet. I am going to discuss this filter, and I'll be glad to show you what I use on my foam filters. And you should be using foam filter oil, not engine oil, not motor oil, not K&N gauze filter oil. Gauze filter oil or engine motor oil or any kind of oil is not going to stay suspended in the air filter. It is going to run down out of the filter. The filter is going to end up dry, and you're not going to have the filtration that you should have. Dirt is not going to stay trapped in a filter, and it's going to be allowed to travel right into the intake. Now there's the cage on there. This will fit over there, and it will actually squeeze the filter material in too when it's on there, where the other one wouldn't do that. When you had the cage on this one, let me put this together and show you. And there were several issues with this very first one. Okay, here it is. The material barely covers over the filter cage here, if you can see that. What you have is this on your intake side, inside. Like I said, this will walk all around. Let me get it in the camera frame for you. This would walk all around because the lips on there were not in the right place. and it would just let it move around. You know, not very good. So you'd have this, and this is all you have sealing this right to here to the cage. The foam doesn't really even cover that. So you have another place if possible for dirt to get in the intake. This fits over this the same way. Doesn't really cover over the filter. So you got a chance of this happening right here, especially when you put the cover on the bottom where it hits down here, and you would put it on this with this old filter, and it would push this filter back, and this is what you end up with, this gap right here. Totally bogus setup right here. This is pointless and worthless. If you guys are running this old setup, I recommend you get rid of it, contact Red Beard Saws, and have an upgrade. Now, he sent me the new one. He even was nice enough to send me 2 filters, so I can have one oiled up and ready to go, or oil it and clean and just throw the other one in and have the other one washed whenever I need to change them. So this one will fit over here, on here like this. And then we can throw this on here and walk around here. So this will go on here like this, and this will screw onto here. And when you do this, this squeezes this filter material together and against the filter cage, so you don't have a chance of an air gap being right there and it moving around. A little bit long-winded here. I probably squeezed this one too far. But this filter material will fit around here better around this cage. You're not going to get these gaps here that the old one had. There is nowhere dirt is going to get in there. This is squeezed tight. There's no air gaps on this anywhere. And this would be oiled too. I'm going to go over the filter oil again and show you what I use. Now that has a little more clearance, I believe, to fit this back on here, this cover, this lip right here, where it's not going to catch the bottom of the filter. That goes right on there, and it doesn't push the filter. Well, let's see here, maybe it does. Yep, I'm not having any luck getting that on there either. No, it does clear the filter. I can see that. I'm just missing the lineup spot here. I'm trying to work in front of this camera and it's in my way. Alright, maybe I need to walk around this side for a second. Here comes my heater. I'm going to have to shut that off or you guys are going to get blasted. Hold on a second. Alright, sorry about that. Now, let's put this cover back on here. See, I don't know if I'm digging this filter either, because it doesn't want to just go right on here like it should. I got to finagle with the cover. The foam's obviously catching on this one too. I can't even catch the stud. Still not catching it. It is not letting it go on there. So, don't know if I'm really impressed with this one either. I can feel the cover hitting the foam at the top. It's not catching the stud. Something's holding it out. Nope. Well, I'm glad I'm doing a video on this. I can demo exactly the issues going on here. I'm going to try and stick this on with the foam over top of it and try to put it back on there again and see if this improves any of the fitment problems. Like so. Now we'll try that like that. This may be all it was. We'll do the same thing on this. We'll let the foam come up over this instead of pushing it, mushrooming it out. Okay, we're into the cage now. Yeah, and I still feel the filter hitting the cage, the cover. But it did go on that time. So what we're going to do is leave this on there a second, and then we're going to pull it back off and see any indentations where the cover was hitting the filter and clearance issues that it's probably going to be having. So let me pull this back off. Okay, doesn't appear to be hitting, so I don't see it pushing this foam. It's going on pretty good, but it still does contact the filter cover, but not enough to cause any issues. You're going to have it on or lined up and everything just right for that to go on there. Okay, so it does work. It is a success. I had to finagle with it a little bit. Now you'll get that much further ahead when you do this yourself. Now, filter oil. Other oils do not stay suspended. I use this. I'm not saying you got to buy the same exact thing, but this is Fab One spray-on air filter oil for fabric and foam filters. It sprays on. I don't have to dip it or dump it out of a bottle or anything. You just spray it on, work it into the filter a little bit. It sets up. It gets real sticky and tacky like tar. That holds the dirt and keeps it suspended in the filter. You should not be using anything else, and do not recommend people use something else other than foam filter oil in a foam filter. When you don't have foam filter oil on here, it will just literally run down with gravity right down to the bottom of the filter and just drip right out of there. Eventually will not stay suspended. It's the same theory like when people use turbine oil to lubricate a blower shaft in air conditioning units. The turbine oil stays suspended on the shaft because it's designed to do that. Just like this is designed to stay suspended and stay tacky on the filter to trap dirt. You want that tacky, sticky filter oil that stays suspended in the filter to be there so it can hold on to dirt. That's what's grabbing your dirt and keeping it from passing all the way through or going anywhere else you don't want it. So run foam filter oil. The upgraded filter does work. This is a far better design than this right here. This was a mess. I will hold on to this just as a reference, but what this was, as you can see, this is bigger in diameter. And you saw how you have to have the cover just lined up right, where the stock filter doesn't hit at all. The cover goes right over top of it without any issues. It's not gonna, this was designed for that. It's got the clearance to go around that, okay? This filter could have been a little bit even smaller in diameter. It doesn't have to be this big, in my opinion. This isn't a 4-barrel carb. This isn't using nowhere near as much air as most people think it is. It's getting a little ridiculous, kind of like a lot of the muffler mods I see, but hey, what do I know, right? So here we go. I'm going to get off of here and oil this filter and reassemble this and put this cover back on here and call it good. So, and it's a shout out to Redbeard Saws. I thank him for getting me the replacement out there and addressing this issue, whether he knew about it or not. He did send me another filter out, and like I said, I've got an extra foam one here now too. He sent with it, so I can actually have a clean one ready to go when this one's dirty, instead of washing this one and waiting for it to dry. Washing these in gas, you can do that. I don't recommend it. Soap and water will wash them out, or you can wash them in a solvent designed to wash filters in, not gas, a solvent designed to clean filters. Then after it dries, then you wash it out with soap and water and then let it dry, totally dry. Then you can treat it and spray it with your foam filter oil. This stuff is, pretty tacky. I'll even tell you what, I'll even do this right now in front of you. I'll use this one and put it back on. You want to get the edges. There we go. That filter's ready to go. I can work that oil into there a little bit. It's going to get sticky. And then we now have a filter that's oiled up and ready to go. The oil's not going to run out of this filter. And that is ready to go. All right, guys, I'm going to get off here. Chainsaw Shack, I'm gone. Thanks for checking in, guys. Brody out.